Hello, geeks and ghouls. We're still in spooky season, so today we won't talk about horror books, specific horror books. We'll talk about horror fiction in general and 5 tropes I see in horror books and they turned me away. So yeah, there are instances where these tropes are used and I like them, and I'll try to include some of them here. However, most of the time they turn me off. And my number one turn off, especially after the summer when I read one too many Alex Cross books by James Patterson. I'm really sick and tired of the genius serial killer, and it's mostly a thriller trope, not a horror trope. However, I'll have to blame the Thomas Harris and Hannibal Lecter, and also Seven, and all those 90s thriller where we had this genius detective trying to deal with an equally genius serial killer. There's so many dollar store Hannibal Lecters out there that they're genius, they have a plan for everything and they baffle everybody. And sometimes this genius is done to an absurd point that makes zero sense for the plot to have any semblance of logic and to work. And there are times when our killer is just calculating some odd coincidences happening to have his plan work out. And I have to say that there's one great exception where this don't happen, and that was Death Note. I had a review about Death Note, the manga, quite some time ago. Click on the card that will appear somewhere there, I believe. Or the whole point is that the main character is not supposed to find who the killer is and the plan comes to fruition, like in Seven. And I know Seven is a movie, not a book. However, it's okay. Red Dragon was great about Hannibal Lecter not being the serial killer and actually playing his mind tricks on the protagonist. That was very clever. However, yes, I'm really tired of genius serial killers. I like my serial killers being brutal. I like my serial killers being Leatherface or Jason Voorhees or Freddy Krueger, or just plain brutal fuckers, not geniuses, just plain brutal fuckers. And speaking of thriller tropes, number 2 is split personalities. I hate split personality tropes, or any other false memories and all this kind of stuff, because we have some very cheap twists of a certain character being the killer all along, or having forgotten something very important for the plot, and having seen the killer and forgot because of shock, and having multiple personalities and all this jazz. And guys, mental health does not work this way. There is this pop psychology of schizophrenics with alternate personalities. I've watched one too many giallos, and yes, they did this pop psychology stuff all the time, and it was kind of fun if it's stylish, but it's cheap. So the same goes for false memories and all this jazz. It's just trope number 3, and I really fucking hate this trope, and it's dreams or nightmares. We have some very intense scenes in the novel, and it's all a dream. The main character wakes up and it was just a dream. And most of the times it is there to pace, to give us, some intense scene. So we're interested and we know it's horror, and, our main character says something scary and we get our scares and we still remember it's a horror novel and the plot can go along. But basically, that's a very cheap cop-out, and if it's a dream, it is not real. And if it's not real, I'm not scared of it. I know there's some great authors who can do this dreamlike stuff amazingly well. Clive Barker is a great example of an author merging horror with dream logic. But yeah, I just don't like dreams. It's a cop-out, it's a cheat. And if the ending twist is it was a dream, then you know what? I'm coming to your home and I'm breaking your keyboard, or I'll make you eat your keyboard. I'm serious. That's awful, and the whole it was all a dream was interesting when Ambrose Bierce did this in that story where the main character was dead all along. But yes, that was it. That was a 19th century story. We're through that, okay? If your whole idea is this was a dream all along, or a split personality and the character thought of that all along, go fuck yourself. Don't do it. And of course, there is this other extreme, because in the number 4 trope I hate seeing, and I'll call it the nothing to see here effect. It's the exact opposite of dreams. So we have our main character seeing something unbelievable, something that makes no sense, that is very terrifying, and then they continue with their everyday lives all along. Because, you know, we have to cram some more slice of life stuff or keep the plot flowing. And you know what, this is also done so we can add some tense scenes and then just go along, because people will forget that they're reading the story if they get no scares. And I actually quite love Jack Ketchum because he's great at slow burn horror. He can go through all those slice of life stuff because he seldom writes supernatural stuff, and then all hell will break loose in the end, and they keep you interested all along. Or you know what most horror authors do is they add some chapters with point of views from people that they will die while our main character continues on with their lives. I mean, Graham Masterton is masterful at that, adding chapters of people being brutally killed. And I don't know, most people do that. Really, if you have to keep your novel tense and the character is not alert to the supernatural yet, just add a point of view scene of somebody having something nasty happening to them, and you're fine. Well, you're fine. If not, your plot needs a good revision, needs a good plot surgery. And finally, number 5 of my pet peeves: zombie apocalypse. I don't like zombie apocalypse stories most of the time because they're fucking formulaic. I pretty much know what I'll do. I'll read in most of the zombie apocalypse stories. We'll have the lone survivor who is trying to find somebody, meeting other people. There will be looting, there will be other survivors, there will be some fighting between survivors, and the zombies are just there to, you know, be a hurdle. And actually the best zombie apocalypse books I've read, they were I Am Legend by Richard Matheson, which is a vampire book, Blood Crazy by Simon Clarke, which is, you know, the adults go crazy and slaughter the kids, and World War Z, where it's a pseudo non-fiction and actually the author put a lot of thought on how a zombie apocalypse will play out. But most of the time I'm just bored of zombie novels. Maybe I'm missing out on some great zombie apocalypse stories because I'm not even picking them up at the moment, and I'm just too tired. So if you know any amazing zombie survival stories that is not Walking Dead, then suggest them. And if you love some of those tropes I mentioned, or pet peeves I mentioned, or you hate them, leave a comment about it. As always, smash the like button, subscribe for more horror stuff. We'll have Spooky October before the real horror of the American election in November. And I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. Stay spooky. Kind reminder that Local Haunts, the HorrorTube Anthology, where I participate in, is currently available for order, either as an ebook or as a paperback. There's a link on the description below.